He said I was lucky he paid for my degree. So I printed out the receipts and left them in his mother's mailbox. I met him when I was 19. First year of university, first time living alone, first time thinking I knew what I was doing. He was 33, confident, controlled, always had the right words, the right timing, the right amount of silence. He wasn't loud like other men. He didn't chase. He watched. He said I was smart. Said I had serious potential. Said I reminded him of himself at that age, only better because I was not wasting it on nonsense. He was a consultant, traveled a lot, talked about systems, decisions, long-term thinking. I didn't understand half of what he said, but it always sounded important. When my rent went up during my second semester, he offered to help. Said it wasn't a big deal, said I shouldn't have to stress about money while building my future. Said, what's the point of success if I can't use it to lift up someone like you? I believed him. It started small. A few transfers for rent, then textbooks, then groceries, then full tuition for my third year. He sent me a spreadsheet once on tracking all the costs. I laughed. Thought it was his way of feeling in control. Thought it was cute that he cared enough to be that organized. He never said it was a loan, never asked for anything back. Just reminded me, every now and then, that he wasn't doing this for fun. That he believed in me. That I should make it count. I did. I graduated early, with honors. Got a decent job straight out of school. Moved into my own place. For a while, things felt balanced. I thought I'd pay him back eventually, even if he never asked. I felt lucky, grateful, loyal. But he changed. Not overnight, not loudly. Just enough that I noticed it didn't feel like support anymore. He started saying things like, "You should be more grateful." Or, "Most girls would kill to be where you are." Sometimes he'd joke that I owed him a few years of obedience before I was allowed to make big decisions. He started using the word investment more often. I invested in you. I expect a return. I didn't put money into your life so you could just do what you want. At first I laughed it off, said, "You didn't buy me." He smiled like I was cute for saying that, told me I misunderstood, that he was just proud of me, that he just wanted to be included in the future he helped build. But it got worse. He hated when I said no to anything. Hated when I wanted space. Hated when I didn't ask his opinion. Hated when I spoke about my life like it belonged to me. I started shrinking again, like I had in university, only this time there was no excuse. No financial need, no debt, just conditioning. He said I was getting cocky now that I had a taste of independence. Said I needed to remember where I came from. Said I needed to stop acting like I did it all on my own. He was obsessed with the idea that I would forget what he gave me. So I made a copy of every single payment he'd ever sent. I pulled up every email, every bank receipt, every shared doc. I labeled everything, dates, reasons, totals. I made 3 folders, one digital, one physical, one backed up to a private cloud, just in case. I didn't know why I was doing it yet. I just knew I needed to have my version of the story, written clearly, backed by numbers, not emotion. And then I found her. Not by accident, by pattern. He started traveling more again, started staying longer in one particular city, 3 hours from mine. Claimed it was a work contract. I believed him. Until I didn't. I searched his name one night, bored, distracted, annoyed, and found a Facebook post from a woman with his arm around her waist. Caption: "Welcome home, love. So proud of everything you do for us." Posted 3 weeks ago. Dozens of comments, friends, family, no secrecy. At first I thought it was old, maybe a cousin, maybe a family joke. Then I looked closer. There were graduation photos in her feed, a university account tagged. She was a student too. A little younger than me, she'd just finished her second year. He had been paying her tuition, just like mine. I scrolled further. Found photos from 2 years ago. Same man, same arm around her waist, same rented apartment he used to stay in when he was on a project. He wasn't dating her after me, he was dating her while me. 2 cities, 2 lives, 2 girls he believed in, and probably more. She had posts thanking him for making her dream possible, for being her foundation, for being her family when hers gave up. I almost laughed. He recycled the same lines, the same story, the same spreadsheet. It was never love. It was leverage. He didn't support us because he cared. He supported us because it bought silence, loyalty, control, gratitude. He thought that would last forever. He thought we'd keep confusing exploitation with generosity. But he forgot one thing. You can manipulate someone into staying, but you can't manipulate what happens after they leave. After I found her, I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I didn't text him some long message about betrayal or lies. I just stared at her face for a long time. She looked so young. Not naive, just new. New to being chosen. New to being supported. New to the kind of love that feels like security until it starts to cost you things you didn't know had a price. He probably used the same words with her. Probably told her he was investing in her future too. That he just wanted to help. That it was all out of love. That she was different. He needed her to believe he was safe, just like I did. But he didn't expect anyone to compare notes. I spent the next 3 days doing nothing loud, just observing. I looked through every old document I had, every transaction, every message that started with, "Let me help you," and ended with, "Just don't forget who's behind you." I printed it all, color-coded, labeled, clean. Then I found my old laptop, the one he bought me when mine crashed sophomore year. I booted it up, opened the backup folder, and found a screenshot I forgot I'd saved. It was his spreadsheet, the one tracking my development costs. Rent, tuition, living expenses, each one tagged with a category, ROI:long-term. He wrote that down. Return on investment. That was the language he used when talking about people. He saw love as leverage, relationships as investments, and control as the return. I printed that spreadsheet too. Then I pulled up the other girl's profile again. I looked at her photos. I traced the timeline, lined it up against mine. We overlapped for 17 months. She tagged his mom once, a birthday photo. Thank you for raising a man who sees potential, not problems. The irony nearly knocked the wind out of me, because I'd met his mom twice. Polite woman, soft voice, always complimented my manners, once said, "I can see why he chose you." Now I wondered how many versions of you she'd been introduced to. I dug into public records. His mother lived one town over, not far, a quiet street. Nice house, front garden, that kind of neighborhood where people wave at each other even if they don't like you. I knew what I wanted to do, but I didn't rush. I made a packet, not messy, not emotional, just documentation. A printed timeline of all major expenses he covered for me. Screenshots of messages with dates, the spreadsheet, the overlap with the new girl. A small note at the end, in case you ever want to know who your son really invests in. No threats, no accusations, no requests, just information. Then I printed 2 more copies. One for the other girl, one for him. I didn't mail them. That would be too easy to ignore. I got in my car on a Saturday morning, drove to his mother's street, and waited for the mail carrier to leave. Then I walked up, opened the box, and slid the envelope inside. No name. Just a clean white envelope with 3 printed words on the front. For your records. That night, I sent the same packet to the girl. Not digitally, physically, certified, tracking required. Addressed to her, not him. Same title, same content. I sent his copy last, but I didn't put it in his mailbox. I left it on his windshield, center of the glass under the wiper, in a red folder so he couldn't miss it. The next day, he called 6 times, then from a second number. I didn't answer. He left a voicemail. Voice calm, measured, the way it always was when he knew he had no control left. Said, "We need to talk." Said, "This isn't what you think." Said, "There are things you don't understand." I deleted it because the only thing I didn't understand was how long I let someone make me believe I was lucky to be owned. And now he was the one explaining himself. To his mother. To his other investment. To whoever else saw the packet and started asking the right questions. He thought I owed him my success. He didn't realize I kept the receipts too. After the packets were delivered, I expected silence. or maybe anger. But what I got was desperation. Quiet, rehearsed, panicked control. He sent emails, not long ones, just enough to feel safe on paper. Can we meet to clear this up? This has gone too far. You're acting without full context. He knew better than to write anything emotional. That would admit guilt. He wanted me to meet him in person, where his words weren't traceable, where he could rewrite the story in real time, just like he used to. I never replied. I wasn't interested in clearing anything up, because for the first time, there was nothing confusing to me anymore. The silence between us didn't feel heavy. It felt clean. But I know he didn't feel the same, because a week after I dropped the packet on his windshield, I got a message from a number I didn't recognize. Different area code. Did you send me this? Attached, a photo of the documents I sent. It was her, the student, the new project. The girl who thought he was her person, her future, her proof that she was chosen. I didn't reply to her either. I didn't need her validation. I didn't need an apology. I didn't want to explain how long I waited to stop justifying what he did. I wasn't the one who owed her clarity. He was. She posted nothing after that. No more photos, no more captions. Her profile went quiet. His mother, on the other hand, made a new post a few days later. A blurry photo of a garden. Caption: some things rot no matter how carefully you plant them. She wasn't a dramatic woman, which made that feel louder than anything she could have said to my face. I didn't dig further. I didn't need to know what happened inside their house or between him and the girl. I didn't need to know if they believed me. The packet wasn't meant to burn his life down. It was meant to remove me from it entirely, with proof that I didn't imagine any of it. Because that's what manipulative men count on, that no one will take the time to document how tightly the leash was wrapped around your throat. They call it help. They call it love. And then they wait for you to thank them for the chain. I wanted him to sit with the evidence. Not just the financials, not just the messages, but the timeline. The cold, inescapable math of it. The overlapping payments, the double lies, the shared language. I wanted him to see what it looked like from the outside. A case study of quiet exploitation. He called me one last time 2 months later, left a voicemail. His voice sounded different this time. Less controlled, more tired. He said he hoped I was doing well, that he wanted to make things right, that he missed how things used to be, that he still thought of me as his greatest success. That was the last straw, not the cheating, not the control, not the gaslighting. That. The idea that I was his success, like I was a project that turned out well, like I was a degree he could hang on his wall and say, I paid for that. So I packed up one last thing, the old laptop. The one he gave me back when mine died. The one he bought so you can work without distractions. The one he used to check when I left it open. The one he used to install tracking software on. I wiped the hard drive, cleaned it, factory reset. Then I printed one final note and taped it to the keyboard. I return your investment, all debt cleared. I dropped it off at his office reception desk. Didn't sign it, didn't wait. Just walked out. And this time, I didn't feel angry. I felt untouchable. He'll never hear from me again. And every time someone asks him what happened, he'll have to either lie again or admit that the girl he thought he owned left nothing behind but evidence.